But week 1 in Kansas City, not so much, Brew. 13 attempts, 3 less than Lamar. Here's Harbaugh on what he expects from Henry.
We have rushed for 185 yards overall, and a lot of that's Lamar, but that's the formula. The formula is all the guys together. It's not just the one guy. I think we didn't bring Derrick in here to be, the guy that gets the ball 30 times a game. He's done that before. That's really not the plan.
Okay, Brew. Greg Jennings is here. Are you good with this?
Not really. I mean, look, I'm not jumping off the bandwagon. The Ravens are still going to the Super Bowl. All right? Winning the Super Bowl. And because I think the Ravens are smart enough to figure out what's best for them. And 30, of course, he just threw out 30. No, of course he's not running 30 times a game. You don't do that in the NFL anymore.
Okay.
But close to 20, 18 a game or something like that, that should be the formula. The formula for the Ravens should be we're working, our bell cow is Derrick Henry. We're going a lot of 12 personnel because they got 2 really good tight ends. And I think that's better for a quarterback who's not an awesome passer, is you got the 2 tight end sets. You still got talent on the outside. And Lamar is just that wild card that can spring at any time. That should be the formula. He's right. He was talking about how they're going to be versatile. 1 week it's Zay. 1 week it's Andrews. 1 week it's Lamar. You're versatile in that you do have a lot of weapons, but it, to me, is quite clear because, again, you don't have the quarterback that's going to average 275 yards a game passing. The formula should be clear, and that's what I think, what you got Derrick Henry for.
Yeah, this can be problematic because you can't – I get it. You got away with it, so to speak, with having success in the running game as far as rushing is concerned. You didn't win the game. But if you're banking on Lamar Jackson to shoulder – the majority of your rushing carry attempts, that is problematic. I don't care.
Lamar's on pace for a 2,000 yard
You cannot. This is not sustainable. You know what I mean? When you talk about a guy that, and I believe because of Likely and the emergence of Likely, and obviously we know who Andrews is, and Zay Flowers is emerging as a young star in this league, I think Lamar does want to throw the ball more, and so I think they're fighting this idea of, who are we?
That's the right answer. So the Ravens don't know what they want to be.
Yes.
They bring in Todd Monken because they want to be a more traditional passing attack. And the very next offseason, bring in an old school bruising running back. John Harbaugh says, we have a vision for Lamar. We believe he can be the greatest quarterback of all time. Literally the same month he said that, Lamar tells GQ, or whomever, I'm sorry, the Washington Post, F passing, and then runs the ball 16 times like he's doing a Mike Allstott impersonation at the end of the runs. They have an identity crisis. And Brew's point after this first game was correct, which is Derrick Henry, over the course of his career, is a guy who you get the most out of, later in the games once he has beat people down. Volume, not because he can't pop big runs, but and the numbers back that up. Derrick Henry in games in the last 4 years. So to basically take out since the 2,000-yard season, because I think we agree he's not quite that guy anymore. Sure. If he doesn't get a bunch of attempts, he's below average. Right. But if he gets at least 15, 4.5 yards from your running back, you'll take that every day of the week. 3.5 yards will kill you. And so Brew's right that is who he is. I just think, Greg, they don't know who they want to be.
Correct.
You can't be all things at once. And to me, it felt like watching this game on Thursday night, they were alternating. There were very few times that it was like, oh, they look like they want to be a power run team. Oh, it's a play action pass. It was, we're spreading everybody out because this is when we're passing, or it's very clear we're going to be running the ball here. And I just don't think that's a formula for success.
Look, the Derrick Henry experiment only works if he is the first option when you're thinking about who we are as a team, identity-wise. That's why I feel like it's problematic, because he's never been in a system, he's never been on an offense where he's not been the number one option.
Since he was 6 years old.
I'm talking like you're going to him first. He's going to get the ball. He's going to run. And it may look ugly. And I don't think that the Ravens want to deal with that because he's not, to your point, he's not one that's going to just be explosive right out the gate. His first couple touches is going to just go for 10, pop a big one. That's not who he is. He leans on opposing defenses, and he wears you down as the game progresses. And I don't think they have the personnel now. They feel like, well, we got Zay Flowers, we got Bateman. You hear all the people that Harbaugh is talking about. We got Likely, we got Andrews. It's going to be one of these guys every other week. That sounds great, but you got to have some level of consistency. You got to go into a game knowing this is what we do. If all else fails, this is what we do.
Are you sure, just devil's advocate, could that have been the plan, but they scored and the Chiefs came back right away and scored? So that, like, you know what, if the Ravens just kept the lead, we go keep on feeding Derrick Henry.
Well,
but because
that could have been, but that's not what Harbaugh just said. Harbaugh said it's not going to be Derrick getting the ball 30 times. And then if you listen to the further press conferences Brew mentioned, he says 7 names.
Yeah.
He doesn't say 2 more backup running backs. He says Derrick Henry's name, then he says both tight ends, Lamar, and 3 receivers. You know what I mean? Like, so it doesn't, to me, Harbaugh's telling us, that what I think they're going to try to do, which is run the ball with Derrick, 15-ish times a game, run the ball with Lamar a half dozen times, a few other carries, and then let Lamar throw, which is not, I think, what Brew anticipated when he picked them to win the Super Bowl.
They'll get it together.
Okay, they'll beat the Raiders. All right, concerning news out of San Francisco, CMC missed week 1, now doubtful for week 2 against the Vikings in Minnesota with Achilles tendonitis. He's on the cover of Wentz Watch. Here's Shanahan.
I believe if it was a playoff game, he would have played. But when it's not just the calf, it's the Achilles, and the Achilles is tendonitis, and that stuff comes and goes. And when it is acting up, it's something you got to be very careful about.
Okay, McCaffrey's career, including his playoffs. I'm healthy. Played 49 games, missed 0. I'm kind of in between. Played 10. Missed 23. Good news, I'm healthy. Played 39, missed 0, and then 2024 hasn't played yet.
That's a scary graphic.
That is.
I hadn't ever thought about it like that, Wild.
That's a Josh special.
Well, all the graphics that are great, I assume are.
Tag team.
But that's a scary graphic.
So he's it sounds weird, but like, is he due for an injury? I don't even want to put that out there. But
well, we talked about that was one reason or one thing I cited when I didn't pick them to win the NFC. No, I said McCaffrey.
Same with Greg too. You guys
now
are
they're
the
my
same
backup. No, I did. I don't even think you were here.
But he picked him to miss the playoffs.
Exactly.
But I got him making the playoffs. I'm saying that's why I didn't pick him to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But my point is this, so McCaffrey, this is something we talked. What is he? 29. We talked about his age. He's getting up there. He's been injury prone. Achilles tendonitis doesn't shock me at this stage of his career. So, he could be a problem. But the team is still fine. They will make the playoffs. They can make, and not to slight McCaffrey, they can still make the Super Bowl without him. They've done it. And like I said yesterday, look at their history under Kyle Shanahan. It's just like his dad. They always have good running games. McCaffrey wasn't the first one to go there and average 5 yards a carry. Raheem Mostert averaged 5.5 yards a carry when they made the Super Bowl. Jeff Wilson, Matt Breida, Elijah Mitchell, they're not as good as McCaffrey, especially catching. But they have enough weapons, and they're going to have a good running game. We just saw Jordan Mason, what he did. Even without McCaffrey, they can still have a great season.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to be concerned. You got to sit him. I mean, I'm 40 years old, and I know I don't play anymore, but I was on a therapy table, and with Achilles tendonitis, the first thing they started to do was massage my calves. Why? Because that's where it stems from. So for me, it is a real deal. We watched Aaron Rodgers with calf issues over the course of his career, and then his Achilles popped last year. We've seen clearly Joe Burrow struggling with issues last year, and we were all yelling, except yourself, he needs to sit down. He needs to sit. This is a running back. This is a running back. He's going to cut. He's going to use those muscles that fire, those quick